Hello and welcome to my UFC 274 predictions. Let's get right into it with Charles Oliveira versus Justin Gaethje. This one I've been kind of going back and forth on, but like with the Dustin Poirier fight, I feel like I know who's going to win this, and I think Charles Oliveira. I think he has way more ways of finishing it. Gaethje, I think, has a decision or obviously KO, but I don't know. I think Charles is very capable of submitting him and even knocking him out potentially. He says that's what he's aiming to do. So I'm taking Charles, and there's a discussion around if he'll even be able to take Justin down because we've seen Michael Chandler try and he wasn't able to, and he's probably a better wrestler than Charles just because that's more of his focus as far as training goes. But I still saw Charles very able to take Dustin Poirier down and even take his back, and that's how he got the choke finish. So I don't know. I feel like even if Charles can't get him down, there's still potential that he can take his back. Next up, we got Namajunas versus Carla Esparza. This is a rematch, and Carla actually won the last one dominantly. It was a tough finale fight to crown the first ever strawweight champion, and Carla took that from Rose, but Rose was a lot younger of a fighter back then. I think she only had 3 fights back then, and she lost one of them. Now she, I think, is a lot more of a mature fighter, especially mentally. I think she's climbed over some hurdles that she still hadn't even gotten around to facing, I guess, at that point with the whole Conor McGregor bus incident that happened with her and everything else. I think Rose just hit her peak, I'd say. I think we're going to see a pretty good performance from her here, and I don't see Carla winning. Carla's also 36, I am pretty sure, which isn't insanely old, but I don't know, I don't see her being in her prime, per se. So yeah, I think this is a pretty comfortable win for Rose Namajunas. Next up, we've got a war on our hands between Michael Chandler and Tony Ferguson. My brain tells me Michael Chandler, but my heart says Tony Ferguson, and I think I'm going to lean to Tony just because I can kind of rationalize that Tony might not be on the downward spiral everyone says he is, because if you think about it like this, the 2 dudes that are fighting in the main event of this for the title of his division are the 2 people who originally beat him. One of them beat him on short notice, and he wasn't like Charles Oliveira wasn't even able to finish Tony. And he did finish Dustin Poirier in the beginning of the 3rd round, which Tony was able to make it through. I think it was a more dominant loss that Tony had to Charles, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think he's done yet, and it seems like he's had a bit of a mindset switch. I don't know if that's the case or not, but he seemed quite riled up when he did a media interview I watched. And yeah, he also lost to Justin Gaethje, which, I mean, there's no shame in that. Justin was a better fighter on that night. It was a close fight. Tony was actually able to drop Dustin. But the Beneil Dariush fight, that's the one that's kind of questionable, I guess you could say. Because the way he lost his fight with Charles Oliveira and Beneil were both pretty much wrestling based. And that's the question, can Tony's wrestling really hold up? We haven't really seen him have too many grand like feet exchanges where he's really hurt guys recently, except for the Justin Gaethje one where he landed that crazy uppercut at the end of the round. But other than that, in that fight, that was domination by Justin. So yeah, this is definitely the fight that's going to really cement whether or not Tony's done. Michael Chandler's a stud, and it's going to be a close fight. It's going to be a hard one no matter what. I don't see Tony getting finished really in this fight. But you know, there's time for everyone. But yeah, I'm taking El Kakui. And then we got Mauricio Shogun Roa versus Ovince St. Preux. I struggle to pronounce that name, but OSP. I'm actually taking Shogun in this one. He is the underdog, but you know, he's a legend, and he's been around for so long, since the Pride days and whatnot. I just feel like he's very capable of getting this done. But yeah, this is a close one. I could see it going either way, depending on how the fight plays out. Unlike the Donald Cerrone Joe Lozon fight, I think Donald's probably gonna get the win in that one. He's been way more active recently. The only questionable thing is his chin, because he's been getting finished like quicker and quicker as he fights. I'm pretty sure since that Tony Ferguson loss, it's just every fight he's gotten finished quicker and quicker, from Justin Gaethje to Conor McGregor. It's just been bad. There was the Alex Morono one too. So yeah, Donald's chin's definitely in question. Joe hasn't really fought, I think, since 2019. It was a losing effort. So yeah, these dudes both are they're far past their peaks, and it's like, you kind of hate to see them keep fighting. You love to see them do what they love, but at the same time, it's like, come on, guys. Your health is at risk here. And yeah, I've been hearing the narrative that both dudes should retire after this, or one should retire if they lose, but yeah, I think both. It should be their last fight. It was a good ride, and one of them can go out on a win, the other one on a loss, but yeah, I don't have really any need to see any of these dudes fight again, especially Joe Lozon. He's been gone for so long, and it's just unless you can make like some crazy statement, but you can't see that occurring. Next up, we have Andre Fialho versus Cameron Van Camp. I see Andre's a very heavy favorite in this one, so I'm going to pick him just because of that. I don't really know much about him, but he's a heavy favorite, and that's usually indicative of a winner. That'd be a cool upset, but yeah. Then the Randy Brown versus Chaos Williams fight. This one's definitely going to be close, but I do lean to Chaos just because of his past opponents. Yeah, Brown's been knocked out before. It was by Vicente Luque, but still, it is eyebrow raising. And when you're in there with Chaos Williams, there's a chance you're going to get hit with something pretty big that'll put you to sleep. Then we got Macy Chasen versus Norma Dumoult. I'm going to take Norma. This one, I don't think there's nothing in this one really. It's back and forth with me. I was originally thinking Macy, but as I looked into the fight more, I was leaning more to Norma just because of her past fights and whatnot. She was actually the one that fought Aspen Ladd before that bad weight cut last year where she had to move up in weight last second. But yeah, I see Dumoult getting this one. Brandon Royval versus Matt Schnell is next. I'm taking Matt Schnell. He's a bit of an underdog, and I like that. I think they're pretty even in terms of records and stuff, so yeah, I don't really lean too heavily either way. I don't really remember any past performances of theirs that I've seen, so none of these dudes stand out as a winner to me. And then we got Blagaway Iona versus Markus Rodrigo de Lima. This fight seems like it'll be a slobber knocker. I didn't know who I'd lean to on this one, so I just went with the ranked guy, Blagaway Ivanov. I saw he has fought Tai Tuivasa before and Derek Lewis, and neither of them were able to finish him. He lost both of them, but it was a decision loss, and those two are some heavy hitters, so I trust in Ivanov's chin, and I think he'll find a way to get the win. Then we got another fight that looks like it's going to be quite the slobber knocker. Odds have this one pretty even. It is Francisco Trinaldo versus Danny Roberts, and I'm taking Danny Roberts. I think Trinaldo's getting pretty old at this point. He's like, 44, 43 at this point. Danny Roberts is 36. I think that in and of itself is just enough to lean me towards Danny. It is a close fight, given their records and what they've done before, but yeah, I think Danny is going to get it done. Alright, now we have Tracy Cortez versus Mauricio Gatto, and I'm going with Tracy Cortez just because this is T-City's girl right here. I've never seen her fight, from what I remember. But, yeah, I trust in her abilities, and this one actually looks like it's going to be a good fight because Mauricio Gatto is undefeated. And I think Tracy Cortez is on a 9-fight win streak. She only lost her first fight in MMA, and she's been undefeated since then. So yeah, this should be a good female fight. It's main eventing the early prelims. Yeah, I think this is going to be the best girl fight on the card for sure. Next up, we got Cledison. Clydeson. Clydeson? Clydeson Rodriguez versus CJ Vergara. I'm taking Rodriguez. Yeah, that's it. And then we got RN Canolas. Oh my god. These names are getting harder and harder. Arnie Carnalisi versus Lupi Golda. Now I'm pronouncing everything wrong. Lupi Godinez. I'm taking Lupi in this fight. But that other chick, Jesus, her arms. Those things are bazookas. And finally, we got Journey Newson versus Fernie Garcia. I'm taking Fernie Garcia. He's debuting in the UFC. And I think he is being given a fight that he can win. I'll just say that. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for the show. This is one of the better looking pay-per-views we've gotten so far this year. And it looks like we're finally getting into that second gear. You know, after that last one. That last one was pretty good, I will say. The Chimaev-Burns fight really carried it. I think the heavy betting favorites kind of made it hard to get into until the actual fights were happening. But, you know, it was a fun night. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.